Hey guys, and welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where we try to discuss video games and video game related topics. I'm Shanae Howard. This is Ryan the Rat Robinson.
Hi, actually her name is Fatty Two Nugs.
My name is actually Fatty Two Nugs.
Okay.
I am a juggalo. This is me coming out, and that's Tommy.
You're a juggler.
I juggle all the things. I juggle all the fuego.
Yeah.
This week, we're gonna talk about some fun stuff. But first, Tommy has some trivia for us. If you are,
Oh, right.
If you are just tuning,
You're supposed to be cruising your noodle.
It's all right. I got it.
Okay.
If you're the first time joining us, we like to start off with trivia.
Feel free to play along at home.
Yeah, no prizes except for us because we're playing it now.
Yeah. So if you guys get it, you get to promote something. If neither of you get it, I'll promote something. But I think that you guys actually probably have a chance of getting this because it'll make sense.
Ah, yes.
What was the first video game played in outer space? Think about it.
Galaga. Oh no, probably Pong.
Okay, maybe this will help. It's played by the Russians.
Tetris.
What version?
Oh, that's bullshit.
What?
He got Tetris.
I'm going to give it to him. I just want to see if he knows what version.
I know that there's a Soviet version of that game.
What is... Well, Tetris was, Alexei Pajitnov, but...
Yeah.
What is the arguably the most popular version of Tetris? In my opinion, the best version of Tetris.
The Game Boy one.
There you go, 1993.
Mm-hmm. By cosmonauts. That's what they call them over there.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmonauts. So.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I got it. Shanae,
Yeah.
see that? I got it.
And now you know an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, I can use that on, my next date.
Sure.
Hey, did you know?
Did you know? Hey.
I'm out of here, dork.
Oh, man. Foiled again.
So Tom, what have you been playing this week?
So I platinumed Shadow of the Colossus.
Sprink.
Did you find all the goats?
I mean, there's only 4 that are known so far.
Did you find them all 4?
Yeah, that was like a couple of weeks ago. I did that.
He told you about the intersecting points at E3, remember?
Well, yeah, I just didn't know if he went personally to go check them out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't collect them or anything, but I took my picture by all of them.
You were a tourist around these goats?
Yeah, so I got the platinum for that. I still have a lot left to do in the game.
Real quick, how did that feel when that popped?
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
Very satisfying.
Is
Very happy. First platinum in a long time, probably over a year.
Yeah. I still haven't had a platinum since Diablo 3.
Yeah. So I did that. Still playing a lot of that. Started up Nier Automata. Did a lot of research on the Drakengard and Nier series. Very interesting stuff. Excited to jump into that game.
Like, interesting, like how?
Interesting in the way that, like James talked about it last week, how, 1 is a sequel to one of the endings of Drakengard 3, and then 2 is a sequel to one of the endings of 1, I believe. And then Nier is a sequel to one of the endings of those,
It's completely possible that you could have played all of these games, but depending on the ending that you got in each of these games, you might not know what's going on at the start of the next game.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I say sequel in a sense of when they take place.
I see.
They don't all necessarily connect. There are themes that connect them all, and there are characters that reoccur.
Mm-hmm.
But Nier Automata is looked at as a standalone title, even though it is technically a sequel to the first Nier and has some returning characters from the first Nier.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to play any of them to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know who those characters are and whatnot,
Yeah. I've heard of and other people who have played Automata, and I haven't played it yet, but it seems to be like the combat is a I've heard it described as kind of a passive experience, in that it's like there's a moveset that you have there, but you can kind of get through by just mashing through it.
I don't know. I'd say there's a bit more to it than that.
Well,
You ever play Metal Gear Rising?
Yeah.
I'd say
With the
it's
analog
like
sticks.
on par with that.
With that, yeah.
Uh,
Like you could learn this stuff, but you don't need to.
yeah, I suppose. I mean, I guess you could button mash your way through Bayonetta, right?
Yeah.
But Bayonetta's combat system is extremely deep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting though. Like the lore for the series is interesting, just because like it spans games, books, music, stage plays, like all sorts.
I heard
of
there's some
different shit.
Shakespeare going on in Automata.
Not that I've seen, but I'm very early in the game.
Yeah. Like how do you I don't know. Like I don't know anything about either of the Nier games, and I don't know how they expand that into like stage plays and books and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like are they all like they're all obviously part of the same universe, but like is each one telling the same story? Do you know anything about that?
So I know like some of the books take place between games. As far as the stage play thing, I watched a bit of video for it, but I don't know what they were saying.
Yeah.
Because it's in Japanese.
Sure.
You know. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff though.
I saw a brief clip of the Yakuza stage play.
Oh really? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. It looks pretty rad actually.
But yeah, I'm excited to get into it. This is the first time a demo has sold me on a game in like decades.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't remember the last time I actually played a demo for anything.
Yeah, me too. Me either.
Because I mean, I think we talked about it before that they're kind of like not something that people do anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, last gen, at least on 360, and I believe on PlayStation 3 as well. Last gen, nearly every game that came out had a demo.
Yeah.
This gen, it's rare.
I mean, I've played a couple of demos, right? Like they don't.
I feel like that's where betas are now.
Well,
People aren't playing betas to help the developer anymore. People are playing betas just to play a little bit of the game.
yeah. Well, see, PlayStation doesn't do it, and so far that I've seen, but on Xbox there been a couple of there have been a couple of games that they would give me a 30-minute or 1 hour demo for that I could try out.
Yeah.
But that's been the extent of it, you know.
You should play the demo for Nier Automata. It's basically the first hour of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still in the part of the game that is in the demo.
Right.
Yeah.
Also interesting, like definitely some old school mentality to some of it. Like one of the first pieces of text you see is that there is no autosave, and that you will learn throughout the course of the game how to go about saving.
Yeah.
Which I've not got to that part yet, but it's interesting to me. Also, like I died during the first opening section, and I get an ending for the game, like credits and all, but it's just like, well, you died and shit went bad. The end, and it makes you start over.
So
you know?
you were playing when I got here, and you turned it off so we could start the show. Had you been able to save up to that point, or you had to
No,
over?
I'll just restart. But like I
Okay.
wasn't deep in though, you know.
Okay.
But
That game does look neat, though.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. What about you, Shanae? Have you been playing video games? Do you know what those are?
KS video game?
Okay.
No, I bought the Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5
Hell yeah! All the
bundle.
Did you get 2.8?
No, because
more yuck for your buck.
I will eventually get it, yes.
But you got a lot of game to play through anyway.
Yeah, that's like
Like a tremendous amount of game to play through at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna play through one, and then Read Chain of Memories. I'm going to just watch all the cutscenes for. I'm not gonna play it because it's a really tedious card game. And then I'm gonna play through the rest of the games, and then I'll get 2.8.
Does it present the games in chronological order? No, it doesn't. Never mind. I know that answer already.
Yeah. No, I was like, nope.
Because
nope.
2.8 has final chapter prologue. Like, yeah, of course it doesn't.
Yeah, because I mean, they do it in order that they came out.
Right.
But I mean, as far as like the storyline actually goes, if you're gonna say in Kingdom Hearts world, this happened first, and then this is gonna happen last.
Right.
No, it's not like it's in chronological release order, but not chronological like.
From what I understand,
story order.
that storyline isn't very like linear.
No.
No.
No, it's also very, very confusing.
Yeah, because I watched someone try to give like a condensed explanation of the events that take place, and I was just like, how does anybody retain all of that?
So many people compare it to Metal Gear. Like a lot of people compare to the Metal Gear series in that, like, if you play the first Kingdom Hearts on its own, you can understand Kingdom Hearts from just that one game by itself. But like, and same thing with Metal Gear Solid. If you play Metal Gear Solid, you can get that story. But like, as the series goes on and on and on, it gets a bit more.
I guess if I had kept up with Kingdom Hearts over the past, how long has it been?
A long time.
Like 16, 17 years. I guess if I had kept up with it for over that period of time, I'd probably get it. But I haven't played Kingdom Hearts since the first one, so.
Well, yeah, so it's been like 20 years.
Yeah. Not 20 years, but
also astonishing that IP has stayed, like, they've retained rights to that IP for so long, because by now many Disney games have been delisted, right?
Right.
But because Kingdom Hearts has such a fan base and has done so well, Square manages to keep that partnership, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
No, because I talked about it on Check It Out, The Best Guy Ever. He did a 3-hour long, like, lecture on what the story is, and then I talked about recently that I've been listening to a lot of Kingdom Smarts, which is also to check it out on Jake Mason. It's Jake Mason and Shannon Maynor, and Jake knows nothing about Kingdom Hearts, and Shannon Maynor is going through game by game, explaining what's going on and what the story is for it. And she is an artist for Archer.
Mm-hmm. Love that show.
And she's also part of Cool Kids Table and has done a lot of other podcasts and been guests on a lot. But yeah, so it's pretty in depth. Like the first one, you can get through it, but you also may not get all of the story just playing the first game, because a lot of people don't realize that there's synthetic Heartless in the first game, and then there's like actual ones, and they don't know the difference when they're fighting them.
I have to Was Kingdom Hearts written and made with sequels in mind?
I believe so.
Does it seem like that?
I can't imagine it could be, though.
Well, they spent 7 years on just the first game.
But like, unless they had a deal, like a contracted deal for like a 3-game contract or something like that, right? Which didn't happen a lot back then. Why would you go into that game with sequels in mind that were likely to never happen?
Because I think it was, wasn't it this? Because I think that when they first started it was also when they were wanting to do like the movies and stuff like that. Because I said it's
movies for Disney.
No, for Square. For like the Final Fantasy games, because
like Disney produced Final Fantasy, or just like
no, just like Square games, like the
Advent Children.
Advent Children. That's what I was like. I want to say Revenant Children, but I was like, that's not right. Revenant Children's not correct.
Well, I just feel like the reason why I asked is just because I think that people like Final Fantasy fans and Disney fans are both like super precious about their fanhood of their respective franchises, and I feel like looking at it retrospectively, this game could have just as easily been a flop, and not sold at all, or like had
awesome.
Well, I mean, you didn't know that until you played it, right?
No, I remember watching videos before the game ever came out, and them talking about what their thought processes were and what like technology they were doing and why it took so long, as far as like some of the things with it. I remember like before the game came out.
Okay, well, outside of the sample size that is Shanae Howard, what I'm saying is that it could have just as easily been something that people like reacted negatively to, just because they don't
and
like.
And it more likely would have been, right?
Yeah,
like that is more often the case because
people typically don't like having like their like the respective universes of their of what they're into like messed with.
Right. Especially Disney fans.
Well, I remember the reason I knew that there was like videos and stuff out there about the game
because you had the internet.
Not just because I had dial-up, but because
Me too.
On the Disney Channel.
Cool.
They in between shows, like they would do like little like clips or whatever.
That would be a great place to advertise that game.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did. Is they're like, oh hey, I'm like the lead developer for Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, what is this?
Well, and let's also not forget like that 10-year span, how heavily Square Enix promoted their games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really, really well marketed. At least I got all the marketing and I got interested. Yeah. And obviously so did a lot of other people.
Ryan and I have talked in the past about it. Like Final Fantasy VII was the first time I'd seen advertisements for a game on a bus. They spent a lot of money marketing their games during that decade.
Yeah. and then it immediately took off when once that game came out, like people were like super into it. So much in fact, like, because I wouldn't consider myself to be like the biggest Disney fan by any means. But at the time I was very much into like JRPGs at the time.
Huh.
Um,
Is that fellow with the long tail in those games?
which fellow with the long tail?
The cartoon they had with like he's like a leopard-looking dude, got a long old tail.
I don't know what you're referencing.
Like is it a Disney cartoon?
Yeah.
Leopard fellow with a long tail.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't know what you're referencing.
Let me see if I can find him.
Leopard fellow.
But
Google leopard fellow.
I know that some of the worlds that were chosen, I mean they didn't put this in the marketing, but I know that some of the worlds they chose to put in the game was because who can like voice act and like from
Sure.
the actual Disney movies, which is why Tarzan had a world in the first game and has never been in any other one. Also because like rights for Tarzan kind of.
Well, it's probably like a lot of archive footage, right? Like just lines ripped directly or like
Not
from
really,
the movies.
because like some of it like they have like in the Tarzan world they have Jane and like,
Remember that guy?
I don't.
no.
Really?
Marsupilami.
There's
Yeah,
also
dude.
It's also a CBS show, so not Disney.
No, it is Disney.
Let me
Look at that Disney logo. That's
Wait.
not Disney.
Oh, I do remember Marsupilami. I remember
Yeah.
his long spaghetti tail.
You see the Disney logo over the name?
Then why did it say CBS on there? That's
Because
weird.
it aired on CBS. More than likely.
Huh.
You see, like
He's
all the old Disney shows,
But I
DuckTales,
he's
all that.
probably not in the game.
Goof Troop, like all that stuff aired on channels that were not Disney.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie are part of like the store and stuff like that. Like they have like Chip and Dale like part of their gummy ship. Like they have those characters in there, but not like their own like.
What
worlds or
about the
anything.
gummy bears?
No.
Okay.
That was a good show.
But yeah. Kingdom Hearts. That's what I've been into.
What about wasn't Bonker? Wasn't that guy Disney?
that police cat?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was. Hey, how come Darkwing Duck's not in any of the Kingdom Hearts games?
Oh, that'd be so cool. A Darkwing Duck world.
Yeah.
Damn.
I would like that as well,
Yeah.
but I'll take what I can get.
Although I think if you put that same mask, if you put that same getup on Sora, he'd just look like Zorro.
That's also cool.
Yeah.
I bet Disney owns Zorro too. So that we could use that.
I like that. I didn't realize this until, except for hearing about Kingdom Smarts. The lady who originally played Alice, like in the original movie, she also played Alice in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Cool. I remember a Pinocchio world in that game.
We go to Monstro, the whale. It's not necessarily like a world because the whale eats you when you're flying in space.
But is Pinocchio there?
Oh, Pinocchio shows up before the whale. Pinocchio
Boom.
shows up in Traverse Town, the first town you go to.
Is Gaston in the first game? Because that guy's badass.
No.
Pinocchio's a dirty fucking liar.
He is.
I don't
That's why he
think
got turned
so.
into a donkey.
I don't think so. I am just on Deep Jungle, so I just started.
Cool.
So I haven't gotten into.
But you're having fun.
Yeah. 'Cause
Is it bringing back all the memories?
Yeah, it's scratching that itch.
Does it look good?
Yeah, like because it's the final.
Because I never played it on PS3 either.
Because it's the final mix.
Right.
So it's like all updated stuff.
Well, it's a port of the PS3 version, is it not? Yeah.
Yeah. So I like it. I've been craving Kingdom Hearts for a while, and it's.
I remember you
good.
texted me this week, and you're like, "Hey Tom, you got that Power Up Rewards card?"
Yeah, she texted me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And she's like, mine ran out. And I was like, all right, Shanae, well.
I want to use discounts, but I don't want to. I don't buy enough physical copies of games to like renew that shit.
Sure. But Kingdom Hearts is something that you love enough to go buy a physical copy.
Are you?
Well, because it's $50 digital,
Yeah.
but $40.
Oh, so it's not for the love; it's because of the cheapness.
Yeah, it's $40 for like a physical copy, $50 for digital, and then like
Sure.
$35 for like pre-owned. So I was like,
Are you all caught up on that story? Man, you've had a long time.
She's got a long time to catch up.
Yeah, sure.
They're saying this year. I still would not be surprised.
You
if it's
think
next year.
you think that I could start the series and finish it by the time that game comes out?
Absolutely.
Yes.
With how quickly you went through Dragon Age, even though I know that's fewer games, you absolutely can.
I was a
But
badass.
Because
for
they're
doing
saying 2018, right? So presumably the end of 2018. But it's Square Enix. I would not be surprised if it's later than that.
Well, if you're not trying to collect all the Dalmatians and all of the postcards and the Winnie the Pooh pages and the Ansem reports,
Give me some
then,
Pooh pages.
then you can actually breeze through the game pretty quickly.
Hey, so
Crit Path.
So that on that compilation, is every game on like one disc?
Like
including
the 1.5 and 2.5 are on one disc.
Okay, so if I get that disc, will I have everything I need to play Kingdom Hearts 3?
Well, 2.8 has the prologue to 3.
Okay.
And also Dream Drop Distance and something else.
And with how they're talking about the new game, it sounds like you should have played at least the majority of these games before you play 3. Because they're talking about, like, they're not going to give you an explanation. They're just going to drop you in.
Dream drop me in.
Yeah.
Man, it sounds like there's a lot of that sounds like that's so much Kingdom Hearts that like by the time 3 came out, I might not even want to play any more Kingdom Hearts.
Well, you don't have to play all of them. I think that like you definitely should have at least some of them under your belt beforehand, because because I know one of the games is only playable on an old Japanese flip phone.
Right. Well, I do like that, though. I like that, like, because we have so many reboots and sequels that come out now. They're like, infamous : Second Son, right? Where it's like, you don't really need to have played those other games to play that.
Sure,
game.
that's a self-contained story.
And that's the way that most sequels work now. And it makes sense because you can market to a larger audience that way.
Cool. I like that because they do that thing where they'll like make references to like they made references to Cole and Second Son like you don't need to actually know who Cole is,
right?
But
with Kingdom Hearts saying no, you really should know something about these games before you play our new game. I like that.
Yeah, because but I don't know, like
they're not trying to cast the widest net.
Sure, like they know who this game is for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited about the worlds. I want to play Big Hero 6 so bad.
So,
which is weird because they've shown so little of that, even though they announced that before like anything else.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only reason they showed more of the Monsters Inc. one is because that got leaked.
Toy Story didn't get leaked. They showed a lot of that.
Is there a Princess and the Frog world?
There's Rapunzel, I think.
Yeah, there's Rapunzel. And then Mandy Moore does the voice of Kyrie, I think, as well as Rapunzel. So.
Yeah, well, Ryan likes that.
Sure. I used to have a huge crush on Mandy Moore.
I still have a huge crush on Mandy Moore. Girl still looks good.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That we both had a crush on Mandy Moore?
No, that's just what her character on Scrubs said all the time.
I don't watch Scrubs. I hate that show.
Oh. All right. But you said that you had a topic this week, right?
You don't care what I've been up to?
Oh, sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm going to hug you.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I've been doing things.
What have you been playing?
Well, just Monster Hunter, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'm getting every week I have more and more of my friends playing it with me, and it's awesome.
So I've finally started cleaning out who I'm following on PSN.
Mm-hmm.
Because PSN just makes you follow whoever you're friends with.
Sure.
So I never get to see my actual friends,
Yeah.
So I started cleaning out people that weren't my actual friends. So now when I'm on there, which been on there a lot because of Shadow of the Colossus, every other day I'll see, Ryan dinged this trophy or that trophy. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it feels cool. I'm getting a lot of good. Look, dude. Okay, so ever since we started that, so you opened up that screenshot tab in our Discord.
Oh yeah.
And it's like really fun to share some screenshots in there.
Do they give you filters and all that?
No, there's not actually a photo mode.
Okay.
So most of the screenshots that you see me get are okay.
Just screenshots.
Well, they're like they give you after you do a quest, then it'll go to like the tally screen where you did all your stuff.
Yeah.
And the background it'll have like a random screenshot from something that happened in the mission.
That's cool.
Sometimes it's something that like you can actually see what's going on.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes it's like you don't know what that is.
But I mean, if they're not gonna have a photo mode, at least they're giving you that.
Yeah, and but a lot of times it'll give me something really cool. So it's been really fun to use. And then I've been recording video clips. Like every time like I manage to get on the back of like a flying monster, then I think that's really awesome because it's really hard to do that. So I get really excited about that. I'm actually diving more into the metagame of that, which I had never done with Monster Hunter. Like, I'd always play that game I'd always play the Monster Hunter games like on a very, very, very surface level. Like, does this weapon have higher numbers on it? Then I want it. Does this armor have higher numbers on it? Then I want it, and that's it, right?
But you're not thinking about builds.
Right. So now, like, I'm paying more attention to like what bonuses my armor has.
Right.
I'm paying more attention to like what kind of ailments and status effects that my weapon can inflict.
That's so good to hear. Because like even when we played a bunch of Diablo 3 together, it didn't seem like you were too concerned with builds. You know.
Like beyond the arrangement of my skills, I wasn't thinking about it. Right. But now, like actually looking at what my equipment is doing and how it's helping me in the fight, and
you see the benefits of it.
Yeah, and there are like also in every Monster Hunter game there were like different items that I could have crafted and used in the fights that I just never used, and I don't know why. I just never got into that stuff. But now I'm doing more of that, and I'm realizing that I for the past 15 years I've made that game harder than it needed to be.
Sure.
So it's really cool to actually get into that stuff.
Shanae, I'm kind of like, do you plan on jumping into this game? Because I feel like it's right up your alley. Have you ever had an interest in Monster Hunter?
I have, and I still do. I just got that itch for Kingdom Hearts, and
Sure.
And also it's a little bit cheaper too.
Of course.
Do you have a 3DS?
Yeah.
Because what I want to do is I want to let you borrow my copy of Monster Hunter Generations, and I want you to play that for a little bit, and then I want you to play Monster Hunter World.
Down.
Or you know what you could? I mean, if you make yourself a Japanese Switch account, which is quite easy to do, you can download the pretty lengthy demo for Double Cross, which is just like an improved version of Generations.
I'll just borrow his.
Okay. All right. It's fine.
Because she'll be able to read that one, you know.
I mean, everyone's got a phone.
Sure. But this way she doesn't.
I played that demo with Google Translate, with which their app, you can just hold it up to text and it'll show you what it says.
Sure. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, then, you know, this way she doesn't have to, you know.
Sure.
But it's up to her. I don't care. But I want you to do that because I want you to see, like, how, like, drastically different it is.
I'm super down for that.
Because
awesome.
that's one of, like, I think we've talked about it.
I'll sit that episode out.
That's fine.
I think
Tom's gone. Sinead and Ryan roll.
Oh man, I'm probably gonna sit it out too, man. If I'm being honest.
It's just Sinead.
Hey guys, this is my thoughts on Monster Hunter.
It's just triangle face for an hour. But no, like a lot of people who are coming to Monster Hunter through Monster Hunter World, it's just like,
which is most people.
Yeah, they don't. The significance of these changes is lost on them for the most part.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah. Especially consider like when you think about like how long I stayed with this series, and just I had always just believed that it was just always going to be that. Like I was gonna get new monsters and a few new things every once in a while, but I always believed that the core.
They've given you no reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah, like because every game has been largely the same, like with a few different changes.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. And then to see this huge departure, which like, you know, again when we talked to him a little while ago about how precious people are with their given franchise, you know, people could have just as easily reacted negatively to the changes made in this game.
I mean, sure, there's a lot of Zelda fans that don't like Breath of the Wild because it doesn't play like a traditional Zelda game.
Yeah,
you know,
because people like when.
But I think Monster Hunter World.
Like new stuff.
I think Monster Hunter World plays enough like other Monster Hunters.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not. I don't know if it's so much like dislike of new things, but I think that a lot of times when people are used to a game playing a certain way. And like, for example, like I remember a while back when someone posed the question, like, what would it be like if Dark Souls had an easy mode in it? Mm-hmm. And then a very angry reaction erupted out of that from the fan community. Like,
yeah, which is fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's like, fuck that. No, don't need an easy mode. If they can't play it, then they don't deserve it. And it's just like.
And I think that's just a stupid mentality to have.
Yeah, it's just like because like people like.
What if Dark Souls had a harder mode?
Like a harder mode?
Would they be mad about that?
But that's the funny thing too, is that they wouldn't be, because like Dark Souls is treated as like the sacrosanct sort of rite of passage or whatever, and like it's supposed to. It's like there's like this weird elitism around that franchise that I don't understand. Like I play it just because I like it, you know.
And
like,
I respect those games tremendously.
Yeah.
I really do. I respect what From Software has done tremendously. But like that community is so fucking elitist that it's just,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's exclusive to that community being elitist. I think there's other games, but yeah, definitely.
Well, of course there's other games, but I can think of plenty of games that have very
But the
welcoming
thing,
communities.
I feel like the elitism around Dark Souls exists specifically because of the perceived difficulty of those games,
Right.
And for nothing else, you know.
Well, they have nothing else to be proud of besides their ability on Dark Souls. So
Right. So like,
let them live in
which
their
really
fantasy
isn't
world.
impressive. You know,
It's not.
like
and so like when you think about Monster Hunter World and like these quality of life changes that have actually made playing the game easier and smoother
Yeah.
and just more accessible to like a wider audience, then it would really easy to imagine, you know, the hardcore Monster Hunter fans being like, you know what, fuck this. And I'm sure that there are Monster Hunter fans out there who like absolutely despise the changes that have been made.
yeah, I
but-
guarantee there are. But the fact of the matter is this entry in the series has more new people than the series has old people.
Which is
you know?
it's basically secured
Right.
the immediate future of the
Well,
franchise.
what I'm getting at is the new people outweigh the old people.
Yeah.
So, and that's who you're hearing from the most.
Yeah.
You know.
But even as like a longtime Monster Hunter fan, like, you know, I absolutely love this game. It's my favorite in the franchise, so I'm really excited about it.
Fastest selling Capcom game ever.
Mm-hmm. Faster than Final Fight.
Faster than Resident Evil 5.
You know what?
And will probably become their best selling game, which is still currently Resident Evil 5.
I feel like that maybe the elitism follows through with Dark Souls and like other games similar to that, and the fact that like they haven't really changed up their format.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like if like Pokemon, like it generally is the same from Yellow onwards, but there is a lot of things added and changed to it. But generally, like you're still catching.
It's like the
Pokemon.
same. It's
Right.
the same loop, right?
Yeah, but I don't really feel like if people and like they've obviously done a lot of different things like Snap, Coliseum, Mystery Dungeons, and stuff like that, and people.
Sure,
are
but
still
Dark
happy
Souls isn't going to have spin-offs, you know?
Yeah, I was just like,
should though.
what do you think? Like, I mean, do you think it's just because it's difficult that?
That's all it is, man. Like there is no other reason for people to be up their own asses about that game.
Well, and it's funny, too, because, like, it's not that difficult in the grand scheme of things.
It's not, and
you know?
that's the thing is like
It's a patience thing.
like,
I feel like.
I've long
It's like gamers have been memorizing boss patterns
yeah
since before the NES.
yeah
You know?
back when we couldn't save.
Yeah.
But like here's the thing is that like I've long established that I am not good at video games. I've beaten all 3 Dark Souls games.
Right.
So like yes, were they difficult for me? Sure, but that's also kind of the point. No, it's not the point, but like that's kind of one of the things that they sell themselves on, right?
I mean, sure, their fucking tagline, you know?
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I've managed to make my way through those games, you know.
And then,
So
and then Ninja Gaiden before that was known for its difficulty, and I remember.
I actually feel like honestly, Ninja Gaiden is harder than Dark Souls.
I mean, if we're talking about the original 3, absolutely they
Like
are.
even the one even the newer ones that came, like the start
Tecmo?
yeah
Sigma?
like we'll start going back to like original Xbox, like that those are hard fucking games, but at the same
Yeah.
time like but you know I never heard anybody talk about Ninja Gaiden that way.
I think
I
just
did.
the exposure, though, like the community back then and the relevance of the internet. Yes, the internet was around. Yes, there were people in forums talking about video games, not to the extent of where it is now.
No, the
Yeah.
community
You know?
is much more.
So you're just less likely to hear that stuff. But like, generally, from what I've been hearing from friends who are playing Monster Hunter World, with people that have been playing the series for a long time, is that for the most part that community is very welcoming.
Yeah,
You know?
there's even a website that's like specifically for like new hunters
Right,
to like
to
go
get help from
yeah.
other people, right?
Which is not something you see in other communities, and that's the thing too is that like I was talking with a friend of mine. We were playing Monster Hunter the other night, and I was talking with a friend of mine about the toxicity of communities like that, like especially because he was talking about how he used to play League of Legends, and I was like,
League of Legends is.
and like and he was like I stopped playing League of Legends because like the culture behind that, but the culture within that game, along with MOBAs as a whole, is just like super toxic, and I'm just not into it.
Well, it's like with like we both started Killing Floor 2 shortly after launch, and like the game's fun. It's a good game, but what really kept me in was when I couldn't play with you, I could play with strangers, and most of them were pretty cool.
I've met one
You know.
asshole in that game.
I didn't
I'm
like-
sure they're there. I'm
Like,
sure they're there in
I've-
Monster Hunter
yeah.
as well.
What I'm saying is
you
like
know?
I've met
I
one
find-
asshole in that game
Yeah.
versus the thousands that I meet
Right.
daily if I'm playing Dark Souls, you know.
I feel like a lot of MMOs have pretty welcoming communities. Like, I mean, World of Warcraft, obviously, I think that of course, there's the assholes out there.
Well, I think with an MMO, you like, not that you have to, but like, those games thrive on you having someone to play with.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you can't play them otherwise, you know?
You can play them on your own, but like, that's kind of...
But like, then it's kind of defeating the point.
There's better single-player experiences. You know?
Well, I feel like, especially specifically in the case of World of Warcraft, which is still, I guess, what is penultimately the greatest selling MMO of all time. Like, that game has changed so much over the past 14 years now that and with each iteration, like, they're doing things that like make the game more accessible to new people and more like and easier to get into for new people, right?
I'm sorry, Shanae, what are you writing there?
Oh, sorry.
What you got there?
She's writing down things that we're saying.
Yeah, I've started since last episode just kind of taking notes.
Yeah.
Just like different things that kind of stick out. And then I'm gonna go look, and then like when I have more, kind of look through them and see different show topics.
The thing about it is,
cool,
writing that made Tom make a face that was vaguely reminiscent of anti-triangle face.
Sorry, no, I'm just trying to just jot down different things for different show ideas later.
Yeah.
It may not come up to anything, but I just figured it's a new technique I'm gonna try.
Right on.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. MMOs welcoming.
Oh yeah, right. So like, if you're still playing if you've been playing World of Warcraft for the past 14 years, which I don't know anybody who's steadily maintained that habit over 14 years, but if you are doing that,
I know people that will do a month with each new expansion.
Yeah. If you've been playing that long, like, if you want to continue playing, you kind of have to like accept that if you're going to continue playing it, because that's just the direction that the game is going to continue to go until they ultimately stop making content for the game. Which, but anyway,
why would they?
But yeah, that's something that you have to accept. So you're gonna have to accept, like, there are gonna be new people coming into the game, and like with the way that game is developed and as it evolves or changes, like, the elitist mindset doesn't lend well to that, because you're gonna scare people away, and then that game that you love so much, you're not gonna be able to play the way that you want, because there's going to be nobody to play with.
I mean, I think there can be a healthy amount of elitism when it comes to games. In certain circumstances, like, the FGC doesn't really like it when new fighters will come out that movesets are changed to be more welcoming,
right,
to newcomers, right?
Yeah.
But that's not because they don't want new people playing the game. In fact, the FGC seems to be, for most games, pretty welcoming. I think it's because that fundamentally changes the game.
Sure.
Now
you say that, then that reminds me of Dragon Ball FighterZ,
right?
And how, like, their approach to inputs in that game is kind of the antithesis of what people pride themselves on in the fighting game community.
Yeah, and the difference is, like, Dragon Ball FighterZ is an easy game to get into, right?
Right.
You build light, medium, heavy.
Right.
Anybody can do that, right? But if you play fighting games, specifically Arc System Works fighting games, you're going to beat anybody that knows that.
Sure.
So it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But,
so because I've played Guilty Gear. Is that Arc Systems?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guilty Gear. Mm-hmm.
So I played Guilty Gear, and I was able. You and I had played against each other, a few times, and I was kind of able to match my way through a few matches.
Yeah.
But not to the extent that it seems like I would be able to in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Well, I think Dragon Ball is interesting because there's a lot of people playing it right now that don't play fighting games.
Sure.
Because they're Dragon Ball fans.
Right.
There's also a lot of fighting game fans that don't like Dragon Ball but are playing it because they're fighting game fans.
Right.
So I think you're getting a lot of people in there that don't typically play that genre. And I think that's why it is good for newcomers, at least right now, as of this moment, because you have a chance. You have a chance to do better,
Also, I know Berto and a couple other people I've talked to. Like, Berto's been playing it, and last thing he did get really heavily into MVC3.
Mm-hmm. And this is very similar to that.
Yeah, and he hasn't played fighting games in a while, and he's enjoying himself with it. And I know other people who have kind of steered away from the genre, because just got burnt out, or they decided they liked other stuff better.
Yeah.
Or going back to it, just because the accessibility and Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
You're 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you're saying.
you know,
it's funny. We've seen the sales for this game rise over the last month.
yeah.
I think we're going to see a pretty steady decline starting with this month's sales.
Why is that?
Because that's typically the way these games work. With Dragon Ball's just in the zeitgeist right now because of this game.
Right.
You know, like I don't think it has lasting appeal in the FGC. I could be wrong, but it just seems that way.
Yeah.
Pokken forever.
It's got issues, you know. It's
Sure.
got significant issues. Just finding a match can be difficult.
Yeah.
So
I'd always believed that a large part of the push behind this, well, not the push behind this game, but a large part of the enthusiasm for this game was, like you said before, that it was a successor to MVC3 that we didn't get.
right.
And I think that, you know, like you were saying with, like, there's fighting game fans who don't like Dragon Ball who are playing it because they're fighting game fans. I think those are the people who were like, I really wanted MVC4,
Right.
and I didn't get that with Infinite, so
Right.
I'm gonna play it here. And from what I'm seeing, like when I watch that game, it is very reminiscent of the hundreds of MVC3 matches that I've watched.
Yeah, it looks more like MVC3 than Infinite does.
Yeah,
You know.
like it's fast. Like people
Yeah.
are tagging in, and we've got a 3-person team as opposed to a 2-person team. You know, it's just it basically it seems like MVC with a different coat of paint on it.
Sure.
Which is not at all a bad thing, but at the same time, like, is that enough to carry the game on a long enough timeline? Like, are we going to be talking about it this time next year? Like,
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, think about the first 3 Budokai games.
yeah,
Those games did not get great reviews. They didn't get terrible reviews, but they did not get great reviews. But man, they sold very, very well.
yeah,
You know, 1 and 2 sold. I mean, they made 3 games. You know, they wouldn't do that with a franchise that was not selling well. I do think that Fighters will be remembered more fondly than the Budokai series.
yeah. Well, I think. Well, I feel
I
like.
think Budokai was a lot more for the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
because
Yeah,
Everybody who bought them from me,
Agreed. It is
was
still a fighting
always-
game.
Yeah.
like,
It is
was
still a Dragon
always-
Ball Z game. Yeah.
like oh yeah, like I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z lately, and I really want this for like the story.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. But I mean, just in that franchise of that IP, I mean, Dragon Ball fighting games go back even farther. We've had Dragon Ball fighting games since not just the NES, or not just the SNES, but the NES.
yeah,
Not in this country, but they exist.
Sure.
You know.
We had Sailor Moon fighting games.
You know, I do think Fighters will be remembered more fondly than any of them.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like I said though, I'm not an elitist by any means. Like of course I get proud of myself when I finish the game, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
a particularly difficult game. I get proud of like every Dragon Ball, every Dark Souls completion. Like that was a moment of pride for me. Even Dark Souls 2, which I despised the entire time, but I was still really proud of myself for finishing that game. Likewise with Bloodborne, I was really proud of myself for
I mean,
finishing that game.
we have a channel in our Discord called Gaming Accomplishments,
Yeah.
right? And we have it for a reason because you do feel good when you do that.
It's
stuff.
just Corey spamming pictures of his
But,
platinums.
Yeah,
4
pretty
hours
much.
a day, but-
More often than not. But you know, like you do feel good when you do that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's okay. Just don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is that and it also extends as far as to like, hey, look, I got this trophy in this game, right? And then there's the immediate response is, that's cool. Talk to me when you did this thing instead.
Right.
Which is a shitty response, right? Which it doesn't lend itself well to expanding the fan base of your favorite game. But at the same time, like that also reminds me of like, I remember you were talking to me about Hat in Time, and how you told me that you felt bad for PC fans because that was supposed to be their exclusive platformer.
Right.
But then you saying that reminded me of the way people talk about console exclusives, and that like a game will come out on Xbox, right? And then it'll be revealed later that it's going to come out on PlayStation as well.
Right. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, sure. And it's crazy to me because, like, on one hand, like you need those exclusives to justify the purchase of the given console, right?
Absolutely, you do.
At the same time, like, it's because I'm an isolated case, right? I don't think about that stuff too much. So like when people, so there is a lot of like people who are just like, they have that frustration with games coming out multi-platform, because it's harder to justify the purchase of a given platform when that continues to happen, especially when we're talking about Xbox, who has a severe need for exclusives, and they can't get it right.
Yeah.
Turok.
Yeah. If you don't count PC,
I
got Turok.
I mean, if you have friends who don't have computers,
Yep.
you count Turok as one of your exclusives. But like, they couldn't do it with Metro. They couldn't do it with Tomb Raider. They couldn't. So it's hard. It becomes, that frustration becomes harder to dissipate when we're looking at a case like that. Like, on one hand, you could be looking at it like, well, I mean, at least that's more people playing and enjoying the game, right? But on the other hand, it's just like, well, I mean, why did I buy this fucking thing? You know?
Yeah, well, it's funny because, like, PCs have more exclusives than any console.
Sure.
Right? Without a doubt.
Sure. They're just a larger marketplace. So.
But, like, for that specific genre, I am of the mind that if you can put it on other platforms, you should.
Yeah.
So more people can play those titles. I don't think that's a bad thing. But in the case of A Hat in Time, it was just sad because one genre that the PC lacks in is 3D platformers.
Yeah.
You know, they're there, but it's typically stuff that released 10 years ago on console.
Stranger's Wrath. Which is a bad port, by the way.
Yeah. So it's just they so badly wanted it.
Yeah.
You know.
But you look at it from the developer's standpoint, it's like, if I can put it out on other platforms, why wouldn't I?
Absolutely.
You know.
Especially when you have to assume it will probably sell better on other platforms.
Sure.
You know.
Like, you know, I've got a 6-year-old son, and you know, I'm not giving him a computer, but
right.
He has access to my PlayStation. I'm gonna let him play that on my PlayStation. You know.
Yeah. As far as first party stuff, I don't want to play Mario on another platform.
Sure.
I don't. I want to play it on Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know. I don't want to play Uncharted on another platform.
Is it just because that's the way it's always been?
Maybe, but like, we need exclusives, and even if it's only first-party exclusives, it's a necessary evil, right? If there were no exclusives, there would be almost no competition,
and then there'd be no marketplace.
Well, I mean, there'd probably be fewer competitors.
Well, and there'd be no innovation.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, look, I want people to be able to enjoy whatever they purchase, right? If you bought an Xbox, I want you to be able to enjoy that Xbox.
Sure, I just don't want you to play any PlayStation games on it.
Sure, but I mean, but here's the thing though, is that like, I feel for Xbox fans just because like they have nothing that is their own besides Halo, Gears of War, maybe a little bit of Crackdown, but like they don't have a whole lot to themselves, you know. And
I mean, I think that's why they were so happy.
Yeah.
When Insomniac, a company that almost always has made PlayStation games, gave them an exclusive. That's an actual exclusive.
Sure.
You know, Sunset Overdrive is one of the few Xbox One games that you cannot buy on PC.
Yeah.
You know.
And so shall it remain.
Yeah.
Because Play Anywhere exists. I still don't understand. I still don't completely understand that initiative, but
yeah.
I don't get it. And like, and granted, it's good for me.
Yeah,
as a consumer, but like, I don't understand what kind of business sense it makes. I really don't. Like, I don't get it.
You don't need to.
It's even more funny is like most of the Play Anywhere titles, you don't even have to get through the Xbox launcher. Some of them you do.
Yeah, like there's like either they want me to buy. I can understand them really wanting me to buy Windows or wanting me to really buy an Xbox. I can't understand them like doing something that indicates that they don't care which one I don't know. It's just,
well, it's funny too, right? Like if you buy Killer Instinct on your Xbox, there's a good chance that they're making more money from you if you buy it on the Xbox store on your PC.
Yeah. Because
they're not printing a disc for that, you know.
Sure.
They're not shipping that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird decision. Very consumer friendly though.
Yeah, I mean, I will happily take advantage of it. I wonder how that Game Pass shit is doing.
It's getting ready to be doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves is out in like what, a month maybe?
Oh yeah. And they did say that like every exclusive game, or not every exclusive, it's every exclusive game, right? Is gonna come out immediately on Game Pass, like day and date.
At least every Microsoft.
Yeah.
First party exclusive games. But it's funny, right? Like, unless you are somebody who collects physical, which we know that is
That number's
becoming
dwindling.
less and less and less.
Yeah.
Probably makes more sense for you to pay $10 than to pay $60.
Sure.
You know.
Sinead, I can't remember. Do you have an Xbox in your house?
Yep, I got Xbox One, PS4, and Switch.
All right,
and Wii U.
Shanae, you don't need to brag.
I mean,
Every
that's a
year.
lot. I mean, you're the one over here with your fucking command center, with your PlayStation and your Computrix and your big ass monitor over here.
You have all of these things at home too.
I don't have a big ass monitor, so I guess my TV could be my big ass monitor, but I'm not hooking up that Steam Link ever again. So that's I don't even know why I bought it. No, I bought it.
You bought it because it was cheap.
I bought it because it was $5,
Yeah.
and I was really curious about it. And then that curiosity died after a day, and I never hooked it up again. Especially after the kind of the bullshit I had with trying to figure out how to get the mouse to work, and I just no.
That was really funny.
No, I'm not doing that again. I don't know. It's the whole thing about it is that like I kind of just wish that people would really be okay with. I wish that every community had something like that Monster Hunter webpage. Like I wish that every community had like a site or some place where people could just be welcome to get help to get better at a game, so
You
that
see,
everybody could have fun.
But correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
That is not a Capcom thing.
It is not.
That is
no
a community thing.
Well, no,
right?
right.
So it is up to the community of
That's
whatever
what
game
I'm
to
saying
do
is
so.
like I'm not like the community, like the developer or the publisher, they're under no obligation to make sure the community isn't shitty.
Right.
They're not.
What I'm saying is that like you want it for every game. Not every community is.
No,
you
what
know,
I what
has
I
a
what I'm
positive attitude
no what I'm
to-
saying, Tom,
yeah.
is that I wish that every community was like that.
Yeah.
I wish that, and especially the communities that like are really hard in the other direction, like community, like from what I've seen, a lot of the MOBA community. I heard that the fighting game community is generally okay. I don't play a lot of fighting games. so-
Generally,
yeah.
there's assholes, but
Yeah. And with the shooter community, it's kind of hit or miss. It just kind of depends on what game you're playing.
yeah.
Because like we said, Killing Floor it's good. Call of Duty not so much. A lot of it.
Battlefield mixed.
Battlefield is really mixed because like I've made like some really cool friends in Battlefield, but then there's been some really like
Jerks.
huge
Some
jerks.
Chicken nugget heads.
Yeah, there's some chicken nugget heads who really love the N-word on Battlefield sometimes.
Chicken nuggets are a good thing, so let's not just lump that in there, Shanae.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
saying like their brains are made of chicken nuggets because they don't think.
Mm.
They don't think before they speak.
Sure, that's a really good assessment, Shaggy Two Nugs.
Fatty too nugs. Get my name right.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I think a big part of that though is like Call of Duty's audience tends to skew younger.
Yeah.
I don't think that helps.
I wonder what the Fortnite community is like.
Well, they don't have adults supervising them to make sure they act right.
You know what I heard about is happening a lot on Fortnite is a lot of kids are taking their mommies and daddies' credit cards to get some of that loot.
Good.
That happens probably every microtransaction
serious.
game.
Why is that good?
No, I'm
Because
just
if you're not smart enough to know what the fuck your kid's doing, then you should lose a few bucks. It's
Sure,
fine.
sure.
what about $10,000?
Yo fault.
That
They could have prevented that.
yeah, like I guess like why keep
My
it-
children, look, I've got 2 kids, right? They would never do that.
like you could leave
Well,
your
you
wallet.
also don't have $10,000
They don't know that.
As a matter of fact, I do have $10,000 today
that they can easily access from one card.
from one card, from my card that they
Well-
don't have access to.
Well, I think the point is that
which
like
is kind of the point.
I think the point is though that Tom could leave that card out where they can get to it and it still nothing would happen.
That's true.
Well, I also feel like they could just like ask you for stuff and explain it and what they want. And you probably make them
And
do
I'll
some
say
chores.
no.
He will
But-
say no.
And so you probably make them do some chores or tell them to wait. But like,
What's that Rorschach line?
I will say no.
But like, what's it in reference to though?
I don't know. Tom will let the kids do the chores, and then after they are finished, he will still say no.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
I mean, he's like, I am under no.
But they know that they can sucker Shanae out of $5, so
Didn't they already do that?
no, I offered.
they swindled her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember you did get swindled fairly recently.
No, I just offered.
Yeah, you got played.
I'm not into free child. I'm not down in for free child labor, just cheap child labor.
What did you ask them to do?
I asked.
Cheat in her game.
Oh yeah, you asked Bradley to walk your
around.
Pokemon around.
Yeah, so I could hatch this egg and get my Gengar.
It's funny
up.
because like you offered him money and he would have done it for free.
You know what's funny? I did a similar thing. I didn't pay my child, but I was going, doing the knocking out the trophies for Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
And there's a bridge in the game. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. That is extremely long.
Yeah.
And you have to walk across that bridge at a certain point to get a trophy to pop. And it takes you like 10 minutes to walk across the bridge. And I was like, hey, Bailey, come walk across this bridge for me.
I mean, and they'll do it.
Yeah.
And you got that trophy, didn't you?
Yep.
Cool. Then later at dinner, pass the pig lips.
So Bailey helped you get platinum?
I suppose she did.
Yeah. So I guess it's both your platinums then, huh?
To be fair, she has played quite a bit of that game with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She texted you earlier to remind me about the Overwatch.
She's very excited for that new character.
What was her name?
Bunyan.
Brigitte.
Okay.
Bunyan. Now that did prompt me to play a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for. Oh, and
it's really funny. She wants to play this game so badly because her friends are playing it.
I wonder,
and I don't think she's gonna like it.
I don't think so either.
Well, what if she surprises you?
I mean, I hope she does.
I
always hope that she does enjoy it. I just don't think she will.
Like, I can't recall her ever playing any game remotely like it.
I mean, she's played a lot of Minecraft on a controller, right? So, like, moving in first person should not be a big issue for her.
But she's never been shot at in a video game before, right?
I don't know, dude.
Well, I remember my first shooter was stressful, and I got frustrated, and I wanted to put it down because I wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
But then I toughed it out, and I ended up really liking it.
And then you were the champion of the game.
And then I became #1 star.
Is that when you got all hopped up on your own magnificence and got yourself banned from WoW?
No, that was before that.
Okay.
And then I became the #1 star, and then I got
#1 stunner.
And I got hooked on drugs and hookers, and I had to go to rehab, and then now I'm here.
Really weird path you took to get here.
It's been quite the journey.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Bailey will have a good time.
I mean, I think that she will definitely like the aesthetic of that game.
I think she will like that she will be playing with her friends.
Sure. And I guess and maybe she'll stick around with it after her friends stop playing it. We'll see. It will be. I would like to actually watch her play that game.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Over the past few months, she has definitely expanded the types of games, the genres that she enjoys playing. It
Sure.
used to be,
not Sims?
Used to be just Minecraft and then just Sims, and like now she's, branching out a bit.
Yeah.
But she still seems to be clinging to games that offer more of an intellectual exercise.
Sure.
Than a...
Did you show her Florence?
Oh, yeah, she played through that real quick.
Yeah. Did she
but,
like
I
it?
mean, yeah, she liked it. But, she's big into, like, Stardew Valley and Zoo Tycoon and stuff like that.
No, I get it.
Not to say that she won't like that game. She might love it.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. I like slower paced games where like I just have more control and I can just like have more options in doing what I want and however I want to play rather than like I have to play it a certain way. So, but yeah, hopefully she likes it.
I wonder who her main would be.
Mercy.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
No, Bailey's too hardcore for that.
Yeah, I told her that we don't play support in this family.
Sure. Sure. Cause why is that, Tom? Because it's boring.
Support's baby mode, man.
Yeah, support is baby mode.
I mean, not always, but generally, support is baby mode.
I would say Mercy is definitely baby mode. There are other support characters that are a lot more involved in.
Well, I guess this new one is like a tank healer, apparently.
It's something like kind of a marriage of the two.
So if I was gonna play support, it'd be that new what's her name, Barbara.
Yeah.
Brigitte?
Yeah.
I like Bunyan better. Right on. All right. So I don't really have anything to plug.
Can I plug something?
Yeah, you could plug it.
There's this YouTuber I found. I don't remember the guy's name.
Mike Boyd.
But his channel is called Family Jules. Jules spelled Jules. That is his last name. Can't remember his first name. Anyways, he's a guitar player.
Julius Jules.
And his whole channel is just like covers of different video game songs. And it's
neat.
very, very good, very entertaining.
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool, actually.
I discovered him because of Shadow of the Colossus.
Cool.
And stuck around for a lot of other things. He does Undertale, which, like, I've not played a lot of that game.
Yeah.
My daughter's almost done with it, but the soundtrack to that game is pretty phenomenal.
Sure.
So if you're into music and, I guess, metal, go look at that guy.
The next, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of like the funny thing about Undertale is I have like almost no interest in it, not because of the game itself, but because like the people with whom I am friends have kind of sapped all my interest out of it because there was a period of time where they just like wouldn't shut up about it,
Oh, yeah.
and I was just like, you know what, I can't like I can't.
I mean,
do
as
more
as
Undertale.
with most Game of the Year, right? Like,
Yeah.
that game won a lot of Game of the Year awards,
Yeah.
and every time that happens, you get tired of hearing about a game.
Yeah, I have I mean I don't have any preconceived notions about the game at all. I still am not ready to be exposed to it yet.
I definitely don't think it's for everybody.
Yeah. You know what game I think is for everybody? Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Sure. That's not a very niche game at all. It's
Got a very
for everyone.
Right, wide appeal.
Whether you're a trucker
Mm-hmm.
Or
or
not.
a European.
Yeah, I am neither, and I enjoy that game. So I mean, it's for everybody. Also, after we, because we're gonna do we're gonna do a little game. We're gonna show some gameplay of a game called Into the Breach.
He's not a surfer, okay?
Oh.
He might be blonde, okay, but he's not a surfer boy.
He's not wearing sleeves.
That's true.
Blonde, long hair, no sleeves, on a surfboard.
We're gonna be doing gameplay for a game called Into the Breach, which is made by the same people who did Faster Than Light. I don't know if you played that, Sinead. Do you know what Faster Than Light is?
I do know
I know
what
what
game
it
you're
is, but I've
talking
never played
about
it.
now because you said the whole FTL thing. You know.
You ever play Faster Than Light?
I never played it, but I know what it is.
This game looks awesome, by the way. You told me over text earlier
Yeah.
that this is what we're going to be playing, and I was like, "What the fuck is that game?" I've watched a lot of gameplay for it. It looks
Yeah.
great.
So,
roguelike turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, so I have not played it at all. I only purchased it this morning.
Small battlefields.
Yeah.
Looks real cool.
So it's got a lot of stuff that I'm very interested in, so we're going to check that out. We're going to do a little check it out together.
Nice.
Also, a quick update. Next week, I'm going to try to have everything up at the normal time, but we're going through some changes. So if things
Changes.
are a little
Our
bit late,
voice is cracking.
if things are a little bit late here or there, that's why. Some shows, formats will be changing a bit, but for the most part, it's the same.
We will still be the same three people you know and love.
We'll just hopefully look and sound a little bit nicer.
Mummy's alive. Bring that show back.
Don't do it.
This is the platform that I'm using to spread that message.
Alright.
Mermaid's alive.
Mermaid's alive. Okay?
All right, we love you guys.
That's the show for this
That
week.
means Shanae wants it to be over now.
Yeah, because she's
Oh
got...
my God, I didn't. Oh. All right, bye. I'm done. I'm gonna go surf.
Bye.
Bye.